Anyway, so I wrote him a letter if he could do that for me. And the reply I got was, he said, I have just read a rumor in the media that you're likely to join Kerry Packer. Is there any truth in it? There's a question mark. If there is, I'm afraid I'll have nothing to do with you. Point blank. So I wrote him back. I said, look, I was approached 3 times, once in Australia, once in England, once in Pakistan, and I wasn't convinced with the man's proposition. No. So I was not allowed to fire his financial guns on my shoulders. He must have been satisfied with that reply, and then he sent me an article covering the performance of left-arm finger spinners on Australian wickets for the last 100 years. That is how precise the man was. How many of us, honestly, I asked him, no, I didn't ask him, I saw it on the film. Bradman 87 not out, I don't know, Ram, you might have seen it. Where 87 is considered a very dicey number for the Aussies. When you're on 87, invariably you get out, either run out, caught behind LBW, or a bad decision. Bradman 87 not out. He was being interviewed, and it was a very beautiful interview, one of the masterpieces. And towards the end, this interviewer asked him, he said, "So Donald, how would you like to be remembered in one word?" And he said, "For my integrity." How many of us can put our right hand on our heart and say that? He was the ultimate in cricket playing, in cricket governance. I also once asked him, I said, why didn't you turn a professional? He played all his cricket as an amateur. He used to go to work before the start of the game, 2 hours early, and after the game was over, 2 hours, he was a stockbroker, back into office. I said, why didn't you turn a professional, Sir Donald? And he says, because I didn't want to lose out on the fun of the game. There was so much to learn from that man. And there's so much to learn every day. To my mind, a good cricketer is one who is a good student of the game. जो सीख रहा है, गेम के बारे में सीख रहा है. And this learning process is never ending. You're still learning, even on your deathbed. And a good administrator of cricket is one who's a good servant of the game. Not the boss. Because to my mind, cricket is the only boss. And you can't boss over the boss, you can't. But we're doing it in whichever capacity we want to be. You can say there's a difference between stepping aside or stepping away, stepping out, down. Yeah, there is a difference. But there is also a difference. As Bradman would used to say, don't take your eyes off the ball. No. We're not doing that. We're not taking the eyes of the ball at all. I'd like to thank the foundation, Palkola Foundation, and this foundation gives me so much of strength, emotional strength. The Palkola lived all his life in Bombay, and here we got a foundation in Madras. There was no better example of national integration. More strength to your foundation, Anand Saab, and my friends. Thank you for being so patient. And it was not my intention to gloat about myself. No, I was a very, very, very average cricketer. But I had the good fortune of playing with giants like Chandrasekhar and Erapalli and Venkatraghavan, and then the finest captain I've ever known in Indian cricket, Tiger Patodi. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you.
We can take some, Mr. Bedi can take some questions. Yeah, there is a mic there. If you could come and ask your question, then you would.
Before you start firing your questions, I would like to emphasize one thing, that I'm not here to convert anybody. No. And please, don't take my words as the gospel. No. If I say that I'm truthful, that I'm the only person who's truthful, no, there's no truth, no truth at all. Truth is always universal. And if I say, all right, this is how cricket should be run, no, that again is wrong. Cricket has its own way of running itself. But you're most welcome to, yeah.
Sir, this Uttarakhand tragedy, so many people have died. But
Who?
cricket, Uttarakhand,
Uh-huh.
cricketers earning so much money, the BCC earning, why they are not coming to help the fellow citizens when the country is doing so much for them and honoring them?
That's a very, very, I tell you, now this is a thought which has come to a gentleman. What's your good name? Sorry? Vasikaran, yeah. Now, this thought came to me second day when Uttarakhand happened. And I rang up 2-3 officials in Punjab and also in Jammu Kashmir. Let's garner some resources. And without even highlighting your efforts, no. Don't seek publicity in a tragedy, no. But nothing has happened from the BCCI or if it has, we're not aware of it. But then again, our tendency is such that we'll become emotionally attached with a cause briefly, but very strongly briefly. It's over. Uttarakhand is over. And for all you know, a lot of help has gone there. But who is going to determine whether it's gone to the right place or not? Yeah.
Bish, your views on walking when the batsman has hit the ball and is caught by the wicketkeeper or a close-in fielder. Why do people say that the law of averages operates? Sometimes it goes against you, sometimes for you. So you should not walk in the interest of the team. Although there have been exceptions like Brian Lara, perhaps Gilchrist, today Hashim Amla, and possibly Sangakkara. I can't think of anyone else in contemporary cricket?
Yes, Ram, I know how this thing is cropped up. What we saw yesterday, Stuart Broad edged with his broad bat and refused to walk. So this is exactly what Bradman mentioned. He didn't want to lose out on the fun of the game because he said professionalism in its wake brings about a fair amount of meanness in a sportsman. So all these people who say, no, we don't want to walk, they are obviously not acknowledging one fact, that umpires are human too. Cricket is one sport which compels you to make a mistake. To play a bad shot, to drop a catch, to miss field, to bowl badly, is part of the game. Cricket makes you do it. If you didn't play a bad shot, you would never get out. If you didn't bowl a bad ball, you won't be scored off. And if you did drop a catch, that always happens. Similarly, umpires are as human as the cricketers, even though with the technology, all sincere attempts are being made to eradicate bad decisions. But there are, again, the human element. I mentioned earlier, it's the cricketers who are to be blamed. I feel very strongly that if you think you're neglected, leave. Must leave. And I have known Tiger Patodi walking off an LBW in England. He got it on his pads. He didn't wait for umpire's finger to go up. No. And the good old times, I've seen Neil Harvey, I've seen Vishwanath, I've seen Richie Benaud, Ted Dexter, the good old films. When you feel you're neglected, you go. You don't wait. And if you scored 100, you're not shoving the bat in front of the crowd. Boom. No, you just show the bat like this or take your cap off. No, but I think there is need. The cricket revival needs youngsters to be told the importance of walking. Cheating has no place in a game of cricket. If I may mention here, we have umpires in a game of cricket, referees in football and hockey, referees everywhere else. Because in order to get a decision, the job of an umpire is that you have to appeal. How is that? If you don't appeal, you won't get a decision. But if you are in football and hockey, where this referee is running around with a whistle, if there is a foul, he'll just whistle. So cricket has so much more human strength to be expressed, to be endeared. And yet, we'd like to believe that the third umpire, fourth umpire, the referee, it's a very beautiful way to distribute arms. Yeah.
Madras, when you and Prasanna were bowling against Sobers and Griffith, Worrell was present at that time.
Yeah.
That time, on the field itself, Sobers taught Griffith how to bat with the pads and not with the bat. And Worrell also criticized, this is not cricket. And what is your opinion of Sobers? He scored century and all that. You were bowling and Prasanna was bowling the other side. Second question is, don't you feel that Chris Gayle becomes emotional whenever he plays against India? He's not Chris Gayle.
Chris Gayle, okay.
Becomes emotional when he plays against India. He's not able to score at all against India. against his spirit. Third is Lazit Malinga a chaka?
Now, Malinga is not a chaka. Let me start with the third question. He's got a very weird, awkward action, but he's not a chaka. Now. Okay? It's to bowl with that action at that pace and bowl regular Yorkers is no mean achievement. You talked about Frank Worrell. You know, Frank Worrell was such a great human being. He was, excuse me, we're talking about Frank Worrell, okay?